Hello, welcome to a little unboxing video. Don't do too many of these at the moment because they tend to happen when I get a lot of items delivered for charity things. So, and there's not very much charity stuff going on at the moment. Whee, nearly lost one then. But this part of stuff is all some different stuff. I've bought this thing and this is a donation. There's something else that I'm going to splice in at the start as well. That's another donation. And the box underneath is a swap. So like I said, the first thing that I want to talk about is an Atari 800 expansion card that was very kindly sent to me. And I'm going to splice that in here because it was going to be a Patreon exclusive video, but I've decided to put it out as a general public release included in this one. So here we go. Hello patrons. I'll do a little unbox just for you today. And this is from one of your fellow Patreon members, I think. I'm pretty sure it is. Nicely packed. Oh, look at that. Oh, it does. Oh, I thought that was damaged, but maybe that's just a coating. It's an Atari, as you can see here, Irata, or it should be Atari. It's a memory expansion for an 8-bit Atari. I don't know which one. Loving these decoupling caps on here. Look at those. They're amazing. I've got the wrong glasses on. One sec. That's better. I can see what I'm doing now. Obviously a hand-drawn or traced PCB. There's no silk screen on either side. A little bit of plastic left. I was tempted to just pull that off, but this whole thing must have been glued on. And that's just part of it. Oh, that is just lovely. Is it hand-drawn if that has got Atari? It's definitely hand soldered. It's lovely. It is absolutely lovely. So we think it's for an 8-bit Atari. I love this vacuum formed case for it as well. It is basically made of the same stuff that egg cartons used to be made of before they went cardboard. No, it can't be this one, can it? It can't be the Atari 800 because that one has internal memory slots. What is this? I need to find out. So this is a couple of later Ataris, and this one does have an expansion connector. I wonder if it would fit. Yes, and it's the right size as well. Yep. Yeah, fits on there lovely. Does cover up the the video port on this one though. Oh, that's going to be hard to get out. Nerve-wracking. The other XL machine I've got here doesn't have an expansion port on the or externally, even though being very similar inside. Marvellous. So it looks like a 64K expansion, 4164s. That should be, yeah, 64K of memory for an 800 XL or a probably more likely a 600 XL. Well, that's interesting. The 65 XE doesn't have that port on the back. This doesn't have a motherboard in it, but it definitely doesn't have that port on it anywhere. So I'm glad they're all of the memory is in sockets, so I can pop those out of their sockets and test them just before putting them into anything that I might expand and have a better chance of it actually working. I mean, the 74 series logic is not, what's that one? Is not socketed. 74132, 74158, 74157. Oh, it's lovely. That must go that way. This is just a really sweet case. Anyway, this is from Robert. Thank you, Robert, who goes by the name of Rabs on the Discord. There's quite a few bits of this that are broken, so it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle to get it to slot back together. There we go. Once it's together, it's quite nice actually. It feels like it's holding it quite nicely. I like the way they've got this 1386 64K. That must be the serial number, and 64K memory. Yeah, it's got this section here that's against the back of this. I wonder if that's where you could just push directly against the back of the connector to push it into the slot. Because if you were pushing against a hollow bit, if this was stood away from it, this would just shatter. Even if it was new, it would probably shatter. But yeah, that is brilliant. Thank you, Robert. I really appreciate that. Cheers. Now I need to put these away again. Anyway, that's just a little thing for you patrons. And we're back. So let's get on with the rest of it. Let's get all of these off here and then we'll go through them one at a time. Right, the first one, I've already unboxed this a few days ago, but I've not really looked at it very closely yet. So it's kind of an unbox. Don't sue me. This is from Kev, who's part of our Retro Hardware Discord. I believe Kev is one of my patrons as well. And on the Retro Hardware Discord, I just realised my keys are on here. I'm going to have to blur them out now. So you've probably seen this area looking a bit weird. That's where my keys were. Yeah, on the Retro Hardware Discord, there is a trading channel, and very often people will offer things in there for a fair price. And sometimes they'll offer them for free. And Kev very kindly offered this, and I could not resist jumping all over this one because it's something I don't have, and it's something from my youth that I used to have, and I wanted to replace. So to explain this, let's get this Spectrum out here first. I'm going to open it up. This Spectrum was donated by the wonderful Bobus, who's another Retro Hardware Discord member, someone that I know from my Twitter days. And this Spectrum is special in that it's a 16K that's been upgraded with the logic chips and the upper memory to a 48K. It's an issue 2 and it's got the cockroach mod on it. It's also got a Traco in here. I didn't realise that. But what I had when I was 13 in 1982 was probably an issue 2. And it was a 16K issue 2, so it would have been without these chips here, and it probably would have had the cockroach mod on it. So what I want to do is put this back to what it was. I'll recap it and everything. It's already been recapped, but they've got it's got radial lead caps on, and I'll change them back to the proper blue ones. I take all these chips out. All these memory chips, which I can use in other machines, take these logic chips out and return it back to being a 16K Spectrum. That power socket looks really crusty. That'll have to come out as well. Yeah, return it back to being a 16K Spectrum, which is what I had back in the day. Make it fully functional. And then here from Kev is this add-on, which is a 32K RAM expansion pack. Oh, it's from Induscomp. This is the Spanish one. So actually, yeah, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Oh no, I'm not. I keep going to have a little run at it, but then changing my mind, I'm chickening out. To give you a closer look, and it's a metal case, this one, with a beautiful decal on the front of it. I don't know if that's painted. I think it might be printed on there, but I want to have a quick look inside. It came with the original box as well. Really, really nice. There's literally nothing on it except Induscomp on the side there and Sinclair ZX Spectrum on there. And that's it. That's all it says. But let's have a quick look inside here. So this is so that I can use my Spectrum the way I used to use it, which was with a RAM pack hanging off the back, wobbling around and annoying me. There we go. Quite nicely made. This part is plastic. Oh no, this isn't metal. I thought this was metal. It's plastic. What a nice board. And it's got 2 blocks in the side here with screws on each side. Let's take it out. Let's take it apart completely. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? Oh, they're wedged in there quite tightly. See if I can wiggle it loose. There we go, it's coming. So the board is actually slotted into these blocks. What a clever little design. We have bodge wires. I do like a bodge wire. Sorry if you weren't in on camera then. But yeah, we've taken it apart and we've got, I'm pretty sure, yeah, these are O-key memory chips in the upper RAM here, and we've got O-key memory chips in here. 3X076, M373Ls, M372H, 20RS, they're the same speed. Yeah, very, very similar chip. And we've also got 3 logic chips. We've got a 74158, 7432, and 7400, and another 158. And if you notice over here, there's a 157, a 157. So I'm assuming that they are very similar to the 158s. A 00 and a 32, the same as the other one. There must be a slight difference between 157 and 158. And it's both of those chips that have got a bodge wire to them. So maybe that was just, the bodge wires are there so that they could use 158s instead of 157s. And of course, a couple of resistors, a couple of capacitors, and a load of decoupling caps. RAM Dynamica 32K. Looking at the fingers of this edge connector here, I don't think this was ever really used to plug anything else into the back of that. It probably had joystick interface in between rather than on the back of the RAM pack. If it had one. Might not have used one. So the last thing I want to do is just put this back together. It's only screwing. And see how well it fits on the back of the Spectrum. Now my RAM pack from back in the day was shaped, it had an indentation across here and a lip up, so this bit was raised and this was lower, and then when you clipped it into the back of the Spectrum, that lip fit over the top of this, and for the whole life of my ZX Spectrum, until the day that I sold it, I used it with the RAM pack not pushed in fully, so it wasn't clipped over the back of the case. But this one doesn't have that, it just goes in quite nicely like that. The only thing with that is it is wobbling about a bit. And the other thing is, it sticks out further than the bottom of the Spectrum. It's just higher than the feet, just there. So when I put it down, and it's actually rocking about. So I'll have to put some higher feet on this, or thicker feet on the bottom of this Spectrum, and use it like that. But yeah, thank you, Kev. That's really kind of you. This one is from Robert Rabs, who saw that in a video that you've probably seen already on my main channel. I made this, and Robert's a patron, and he's already seen that video, and he mentioned that he was going to build a ZX81 plus 38, and I said, I've got spare motherboards. So he said, right, let's do a swap. Now, I'm sending him this. Just this PCB. And in return, he sent me all of this. There's a letter and some stuff. Let's just move that to one side for a sec. So it says inside you should find an AVI ELF2 PCB. Don't know what this bit is. Oh, I know what this is. There's also a ZAE CMOS NMOS test PCB with printed base and LED guide. Oh, the LED guides. Oh, there's the LED guide. Oh, right. That's to keep the LEDs lined up. That's cool. So I actually mentioned in a recent video that I needed a Z80 tester, and here one is. I can't show you that too close though, because it's not my sponsors. Although this isn't a sponsored video. But yeah, that's cool. We've got some more stuff. Oh, I know what that is. Right, I think that's it. Make sure nothing is hiding in between the layers. Oh, wow. Oh, it's a beast. Right, so he says here that he sent a AVI ELF2 PCB, which is this one, an AVI Hyperboard PCB, an AVI Prototype PCB, and a AVI 18, oh, that must be this one, 1861 PCB. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. From the AVI 1861 by Ed Keefe. And there's also, I've also thrown in an 1802 CPU, which is fantastic. I don't think I've got anything with an 1802 CPU in it. So the ELF2 is similar to one of my favourite computers, the Kim 1. There's also another PCB type, you know, based single board computer of the time would be the MK14, and there was an Apple one as well that I'm not very familiar with. But the ELF2 was also around at that time and very popular. And this is a modern recreation of the ELF2 called the Rev D variant. And it's one that adds a lot of modern niceties. I don't think it had video out on the original. So it's got video out, it's got cassette out and user I/O. I think the original was much more bare bones. This one has Cherry keyboard switch compatible. So that makes that a lot easier. Don't have to use tack switches. It has a 2-segment display there. Sorry, a 7-segment 2-digit display there. But it's also got video out. So I know so little about this. Dedicated to the memory of Ed Keefe, founder of the ELF2 reproduction project, devoted RCA Cosmac developer, engineer, and all-round good guy. How lovely is that? That's beautiful. Don't mind what you want to do with the AVI ELF2 stuff. If you want to use it in a charity auction, then no problem. I've just donated 3 sets to the Centre of Computing History, who are due to do an exhibit on these earlier computer kits like the ELF2. All the best. Rabs. And he printed this on ProText on my Amstrad CPC using DMP 2000, the original setup that I used to print all my notes at university a long time ago. What a lovely touch. I keep all of these letters and things, by the way. I never throw anything like these things away, so I keep all of these. These are all precious to me. The Ed Keefe ELF2 Hyperboard. Wonder what that does. It looks like it might... Oh, it adds a load of RAM, 32K RAM and 32K ROM. The original ELF2 only had like 256 bytes of memory. I think it was 1976, something like that. The original one was. Boot ROM. So we've got some logic, 4040, CPD 1852, pipe-wide parallel port, more logic, output port, input port. Oh, so this is like a serial board, I think. Probably. It's got. Are any of these connected? It's quite nice that you've got all of this here, so you could actually just like drop a component in there and then wire it straight to the other components with some bodge wires. Normal boot out in RAM. RAM. Boot stops on access to high bank at 8000. High Z or high Z. CPU runs FF. Inline decoders. Programmable frequency generator. There's so much I don't know about this. This is a mystery to me, but it's one that I'm keen to explore. Big slots. No idea. So obviously that's gonna live in one of those slots. I really love these early PCB or single board computers. This is definitely something that I will treasure. This was from Dave, Devilish Designs Dave. This is a replica of the Kim 1 and still one of the best things I think I've ever put together. Beautiful. Thank you very much. And oh, the what is it, an 1802 CPU. This is the second CPU in space. This is in the Voyager space probe. It's resistant to radiation and things like that, so it's good for using, or it was good for using it in space. It's fantastic. This must be a custom logic or a custom chip that is unobtainium, and it uses some more obtainium. It says line 4040, 4014 and frame. So I wonder where that goes. Could be, did he say CP 1861? Yeah, AVI 1861. So with CPD 1861 down here, and this must go on there once it's been built up. I bet that's a chip that's really hard to get hold of. There's some more common logic around here, but there are some bits that I'm probably going to struggle to get hold of, but I'll slowly put it together. I'll keep this in its box, and one day I'll make a video about it. I've got one more thing to show you. It's something I've bought. This is to make a future video. Ooh. Oh, there's a clue. God, that doesn't look very good. What is that? Here we go. It's a Hacko knockoff. So I used to have one of these. I've got another one now. I've just rebought another one. It's got the more modern gun part of it, but a ZD915 was what I used to use, and I traded it up for, well, I didn't trade it, a Hacko FR301, and I did a video comparing this and the Hacko, which was quite popular. And then I gave my ZD915 away, and I kind of regret that. Well, I don't regret it because it went to a good home, and I'm sure Jim will use it in some capacity, or he'll give it to somebody that will use it. But I did regret it for one reason, and that is because the size of the tips on the nozzle for the Hacko only go up to like 1 mil. I can't find any bigger ones, and you can get some really big ones on these to desolder like modulator cans and big heavy stuff. So it's handy to have something like this. But I also wanted to do a follow up with this being modified in the way that Jan Beta and Mark from the Retro channel have modified, or Mark did his ages ago. He's got a Hacko now, but Jan Beta has modified his ZD915 and obviously made it work much better. I kind of want to do that as well. I'm not going to make a video about it. I'm just going to modify mine. But then I want to pit the upgraded ZD915 against the Hacko FR301 in a video. But this has been niggling away at me, and what this is a hybrid of this and this. So this is an all-in-one unit with just a mains lead coming out of the back of it, and this one obviously has its big base station, but this part of the unit is very similar, or seems very similar, but I don't think it is. Oh, that doesn't. It's just not very good. But I think I thought this used the same nozzles as this, but it doesn't. They're very different. These are very different nozzles. That looks like that actually just unscrews. So I was hoping that I would be able to use the bigger nozzles on this with this. But the benefit of this one is that it's got the motor or the suction pump built into here in the same way as the Hacko has. With the weakness of this is that the suction has to go all the way through there. A vacuum is made in here. A big pump sucks, creates a vacuum in there, and it travels all the way through this pipe, which is flexible, and has to create a vacuum very quickly all the way down here. With this one, the vacuum is created very close to the nozzle and you get immediate suction. It makes a big difference. This one, not so much. But the upgrades that you can do to this to strengthen the whole system make a big difference to that. So the upgrades will catch this up with the FR301, but I'm wondering what this does. Should we plug it in and make it hot? Actually, there's another bit to it. I will need to check this plug first. It feels very light. It comes with a stand, which is quite robust actually. Oh, there we go, it goes like that. Oh, there's some bits in here as well. Oh, it's just a sponge and a tray. I think it goes like, yeah, it goes like that. That's actually quite a nice fit and feels like it will not move around too much on the workbench. So first things first, never plug anything in from a different region to your own without checking first what's inside. Well, it's got a 13 amp fuse, which will probably mean that the cable is the fuse. It's wired correctly and it has got an earth. I'd be quite interested to see if that earth is connected to the nozzle or any other part of it. Oh, hang on, I wasn't. Yes! We have a proper earth that runs all the way through it and is connected. I think I'll leave the 13 amp fuse in there for now, but I'm probably going to change it for a 5 amp. It does say fitted with a BS 1362 13 amp fuse. So, yep, fair enough. The conductors are insulated in the right way as well, and the earth is not. Sometimes you get they put an insulator on this part of the earth as well, which is not what you want. The other thing I'm going to do is plug it into an RCD outlet as well, just to protect myself, just in case. RCD. All right, that's on and I'm ready to give juice. I'm going to put this on its lowest setting to start with. Okay, we've got an LED. Down here. So the lowest setting is 350 degrees. Let's see how long it takes to get to that. Oh! It's got quite an urgent feel to it. The moo gun goes. Quite a lot of fumes coming off of there. I'm assuming that the red light will go out. It's in a better place, by the way, than the Hakko. Oh, it's flashing. That's actually quite good because you know it's on. Oh no, it's gone out. Right, let's get something to... Oh, that's a weakness. You put... Maybe it goes in that way. Okay, maybe it goes that way up. But if you put it in the way you expect, i.e. that way, it just pushes the trigger. Here we go, I've got an old scrap issue 2 ZX Spectrum motherboard. I know these like the back of my hand. Let's see if I can... Oh, it's not very fair because they're quite crusty. I'm going to take one of these lower RAM chips out. Took a while to heat that big, thick trace. This is the ground, I think. This one is one of the power rails, but it's melted that quite quickly. I haven't reflowed these. I mean, they're not in terrible condition, but Now, I have to say, that's done a really good job. See if that actually just comes loose. No. Oh, yep. I wouldn't normally give it that much leverage, and I still might lose a trace on this board, but no, it's done a good enough job that all of these fragile traces on top are actually intact. I am impressed. I didn't realise that someone had previously snipped one of the legs on this chip, so that's actually still hanging in the board, and might be why one of those, yeah, it's still hanging through that side. That could have blocked that nozzle and killed it off straight away. Don't like that. I'm impressed. Let's take out a transistor. The handle is getting warm, but not too bad. It's not too hot. Yeah, that's immediately, yep, that's done a really good job. I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed. Now, I know from some of the reviews that, has this got an on-off switch? There's no on-off switch on this. That's the only, yeah, there's no on-off switch. You have to turn it off at the mains. I know in some of the reviews that the heater element does pack up, and you can buy this as a kit with a spare heater element. I never expected to continue to use this though, so I didn't bother getting one. But yeah, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. This isn't the best arrangement, but it's better than the one on the other gun. Even this updated one with the lever system is still, it's not too bad, but then like, all of that comes falling out. This hasn't got the spring in it to hold things against the back. You just leave that in there like that, basically. Is there just no spring in it? Or was there meant to be a spring in it? I don't know. Quite easy to get back in. Yeah, it feels like there should be a spring in there. But a lot of people just take all of this out and put cotton wool in there anyway. Apparently that's a good way of doing it. I might give that a try at some point. Okay, enough messing around with desoldering guns. That's going to be a future video. It might not be out for a couple of months, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing a big comparison between modified ZD915, this thing, whatever it's called, then S993A by Gaoji, and of course the Hakko FR301, which I've been using constantly since the last video, and I know inside and out now, and I know what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Oh, we did get those bits. Oh, there's two filters in here, so there's a filter. There must be a filter somewhere else. It's two size filters. There's more to see inside there, I think. Anyway, enough for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Oh, and they lost the letter. I keep all the letters.